Okay, Mr. Browncoat Eric, you've talked at me. Now it's time for you to sit down and let me talk at you. But I'm not going to do it in that hateful tone because that just makes me seem like someone who is rapidly going to defend a game that is very impersonal. Excuse me, I've had a cold past couple days, so you'll have to excuse me clearing my throat every now and then. But, saying it's extremely, so exceptionally below average is just not, I don't know if that's exactly what you said, but you said it was below average. That's not the case. The case is that it is an average game. It's not a below average game. It is the measuring stick. It is just as, it's just as useful as measuring stick, but also just as impersonal. It's not, it's just a measuring stick. It's what you measure every other game by. I don't know if you would agree with that, but that's not what I do, but it's what a lot of people do. Honestly, I think Halo isn't bad. I think it's okay. And honestly, I think the multiplayer is really good. Me growing up, I didn't have a lot of friends who played video games who could come over frequently and play video games with me. So I'm not a big split screen guy, and I never was because it was always too small. I mean, I know I had brothers and sisters, but I could never play other first-person shooters like GoldenEye. I did have time splitters for a while, but at that time, no one else could, either wasn't allowed to or would. So, I mean, multiplayer is it's really awesome that I can go and play online and beat random strangers. It's kind of fun. I like that. But that's just me being weird, I guess. And I do agree with you on this. The characters are insipid, flat, and uninteresting, and probably the best way to describe them is safe. Honestly, the whole thing about Halo is that it's safe. That's pretty much what it's all about. The story of Halo is basically aliens mixed with ring worlds. The face huggers being the Flood, and ring worlds being Halo. It's just, it's kind of rips off everything. I'm going to slow it down now because I think I'm talking too fast, but I want to get this done in a relatively short amount of time. And you said something about the tank controls in Doom, not Doom, Tomb Raider and Resident Evil. How else would you do it? Because honestly, that's how first-person shooters have worked since Doom. That's how they've worked. And that's how they will continue to work. And it's not just you go forward and backward. You push left and right and you strafe. You walk to the side while facing the same way. So it doesn't control exactly like Resident Evil or Tomb Raider. Honestly, a lot of people will say you suck at Halo when that happens. But honestly, it doesn't matter. It's your opinion. The reason why it's so popular is because it is one of the best console first-person shooters. And this brings me to my major point. You are opening up a whole nother can of worms in terms of how PC gaming works on, with first-person shooters and how, it translates to consoles. That is how it's been, is that consoles have been, not good first-person shooter platforms. People do not like to play it on those platforms. But in PC gaming world, that's been the de facto genre for forever. And that's where, like I said, Doom, that originally came out on the PC. Wolfenstein 3D was the father of modern first-person shooters. That came out on the PC, and that's just how it's been, and that's why you have the dual joystick thing, because you'd have the mouse and keyboard. And that's why Halo is as popular as it is because when it came out, it was the best. It was what made first-person shooters on the console possible. Not saying that there weren't any before. Obviously, Time Splitters came out before that, I think, probably in 2000 or 2001. But, yeah, that was why it was hailed as the second coming of all things good and holy. But I enjoy the multiplayer, and I understand how you can see how some people get upset over the internet. That's just how some people are. But I just like to kick back, get achievements, stuff like that, and play some Halo. I find it fun. But that's just me, and I understand your opinion on Halo, but I don't get how you say it's the Twilight of video games. I do see how you say it's the Twilight of video games in terms of its popularity, but in terms of its quality, it's at least competent. Whereas Twilight just stumbles over itself and walks back to its own mistakes time and time again, and I haven't read Twilight, but I've heard so many scathing reviews that I don't even care to go read it. And honestly, I'm not into the vampire steamy romance novels either. But before you say I'm a Halo fanboy, no, I'm not. Borderlands is the best game ever made so far in all of video games. That's been proven. It's scientifically fact now. With, like, I don't know, Diablo in close second, maybe. But yeah, it's just my opinion. I think that Halo is okay and not bad. Yeah, I guess I'll talk at you later. Wanted to add this addendum just to clarify everything. What I said was extremely conflicting. Honestly, it's a good game. At times it can be not good, and I can understand how people would get frustrated with controls and everything, and I understand how you would get frustrated with controls and everything. My brother will not play Halo because of the controls. I don't know. I think that's because he has a hard time keeping track of 2 joysticks. But, I mean, you know, it all comes down to opinion. I think it's not a bad game, and I have a friend who likes to play it with me. And yeah, characters and story, totally bad, but you can't compare that to Time Splitters, except you can in terms of attitude, because Halo is trying to make you take it seriously, whereas Time Splitters has monkeys running around in RoboCop uniforms with bananas. You cannot top that in terms of attitude, except you can, because Borderlands is the greatest game ever made. It's been scientifically proven. I have already said that, but yeah, I guess this video slash rant has gone on longer than it needed to go. It's probably about 8 minutes now, 8 or 9 minutes. Hopefully I'll be able to fit it in, and honestly, just play what you want, have fun. Peace to all gamers, I guess. Come play Borderlands. It's the greatest game ever made. I'm gonna stop plugging that game now. I've already they don't need any free advertising from me.